My man Blair, how you doing, man? All right. Yeah, all right. All right. This used to be my street. This used to be the street where I hung out. You know, my whole family used to live on this street, number 261, Linden.
When he last lived on these New York streets, Lesra Martin was a malnourished 15-year-old, illiterate and probably doomed. Then fate intervened. The boy who brought justice to Boxer Hurricane Carter escaped from the ghetto onto the world stage. But Lesra Martin's salvation came at a price.
It's quite ironic for me to find myself back here in my hometown, a stone's throw away from my old neighborhood, talking about the importance of education and the importance of eradicating illiteracy, not just in the third world, but in the first world.
His mother named him for Ezra, the prophet, and Lazarus, who rose from the dead. Maybe she had a premonition. Lesra was the second boy in a family of 8. 5 boys, 3 girls. They were once a family on the rise. But after his father, a singer, was injured, the Martins surrendered to poverty. His mother, Alma, knew the statistics. In the ghetto, girls sometimes make it, boys usually don't. Alma's favorite saying was, "The Lord works in mysterious ways." Lesra Martin met a group of white Canadians who would change his life forever.
We were there to do some research on a fuel-saving device for a car, and we had to have it tested very officially, so we went to the nearest Environmental Protection Agency lab, which was in Brooklyn. And we literally bumped into Lesra, who was working there as part of a summer job, make work for inner city youth kind of program.
My father had a tough time with letting Lesra go as well as my mother did. They talked about it and they reasoned and they rationalized why they should and why they shouldn't, saying, well, we don't really know these people. They can take them somewhere and then kill them. And what do they want him for? All of those things. And then they had to toss around the good parts as well. Well, if he goes to college, he can make something of himself and get away from all of this stuff going on around him.
Alma pinned her hopes on Lesra and gave him her blessing. He spent his last night worried about leaving his younger brothers to the streets. Then, the next morning, he was bound for a new life in a foreign land. Lesra's new family were young and zealous entrepreneurs living communally.
They began to simply surround me with books and surround me with reading material, never forcing me or saying you have to read this, but just surrounding me with it so that I was becoming slowly less afraid of it. So they would take me to bookstores all the time and book sales and libraries and so forth.
A book in a library discard bin found Lesra. It was the best 25-cent investment he ever made. Rubin Hurricane Carter was at the peak of his boxing career when he was imprisoned for a triple murder he did not commit. This unlikely alliance between Lesra, Rubin, and the Canadians breathed new life into the fight for Rubin's freedom. Rubin Carter was exonerated 22 years after his arrest. Moving to Toronto to live with the Canadians, Rubin launched a successful career as an inspirational speaker. The hurricane rebuilt his life.
You can win.
Lesra soared as a scholar. The miracles had been rendered. Working as a Crown prosecutor, Lesra had fulfilled his childhood dream of becoming a lawyer. But destiny wasn't finished with him yet. The Hurricane was a Hollywood blockbuster that shone the spotlight on Lesra once again. The demand for Lesra to tell his story was overwhelming. Oprah Winfrey and Larry King introduced him to the world. In New York, the United Nations called on him to address the General Assembly. Lesra couldn't say no. By sharing his story, Lesra shatters myths about race, equity, and ghetto life. But Lesra's success has taken a toll. He is still haunted by regrets for the family he left behind. A family crisis has Lesra back in New York.
Elston was the brother just below me, and I came back for a visit after about 3 months, and Elston and I were walking down the street, and Elston just looked up at me and he said, Les, he used to call me Les, why'd you leave? Why'd you have to leave? You put all the pressure and responsibility on me to take care of the family, and I'm not sure I can do it. I'm not having such a good time.
Elston was very, very quiet. He was a homebody, and he was just basically going to pick up my niece from some sort of confrontation that she had with someone else. He got out of the car, and the person that she had had the confrontation with began shooting.
He was 31 years old.
I think Elston's tragedy is the epitome of New York, epitome of ghetto life. He was a decent kid, you know. At the time in which he died, he was helping someone, you know, and that was him through and through. I guess if there's anything I feel guilty about, it's probably that I was chosen and not him to have an opportunity to lead a better life, to be given proper access to opportunity, to be given a chance in life. I've often wondered why it was me and not him. I don't give up, though. I still think that there'll be a time that my whole family's back together. I'm looking forward to that day. Everyone will be out of a ghetto community, and everyone will be happy again.